Hello, hello, it's theTube's weekend edition. All the best stories that made our week up for second grabs with theTube's team. Let's do it. With me in the studio are Avri Rosen-Tzvi and Shai Ringel. Good evening. How was your week, boys?
My week was fine. Thank you for asking. I mean, it was like, yeah, I'm glad it's over, but it was fine.
Shai?
It was weekly. I saw Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, but Thursday came and then everything's okay.
Lovely. Now, this week we saw Windows 10 come under attack over its default settings, which users say compromised their privacy. All that just days after the operating system's successful launch saw more than 14 million installs in the first 24 hours. Basically, it turns out that Windows 10 is a huge data collecting machine, bigger and more intrusive than anything Google has ever done. Windows 10 was launched with the following commercial, stating all the things the children of the future will enjoy. Is lack of privacy one of them?
Let's tell the world all the things we've done, falling in love in the setting sun.
Imagine, these kids won't have to remember passwords or obsess about security. For them, every screen is meant to be touched, and web pages are meant to be scribbled on and shared. They'll expect their devices to listen to them, and talk, and sing, tell a funny joke. And as they grow and get better at things, their technology will too. They'll do things their parents never even dreamed of. Because these kids will grow up with Windows 10. The future starts now, for all of us. Get started today. Windows 10.
Well, hello Fatima, hello Shai. So how bad is the privacy crisis around Windows 10? I mean, can't you just reset your privacy settings?
You can. It's very problematic because once you install it, you don't see those settings every time. You need to go into the settings to get the right tab. It's hidden somewhere. And there are also apps that can help you move some of the settings around. But for the regular user, most of the regular users will just stick with the same settings because that's what they know.
Do you think it's a crisis like it was described here on the tube?
Well, it depends on who we're talking about. I mean, for savvy users, for early adapters, I think it was a real blow because, as you said, it was a very successful launch. And then sort of the backlash was very swift and very hard. And so I think for people who maybe Windows less care about, you know, the people who are like the tech people, I think it will be. I think they don't trust Microsoft right now as far as they can throw them. For the rest of the people, for most people, I doubt they'll even hear about it. You know, as Shai says, you have to know about this security breach, or it's not a breach, like these security settings in order to know that you even have a problem. And I doubt most regular users will ever know about it.
Yeah, it's a crisis for us technologic news shows because this is something we deal with a lot and try to clear it to people that their privacy is being hurt. But Microsoft knows, like Google knows, like a lot of other companies know today that you can't sell anyone's stuff anymore. This is not the 90s. In the 90s, Microsoft could sell their Windows and people were able to pay. And these days, the middle class doesn't have any money to pay for another operating system. That's just the fact.
Yeah, but as you said, you know, Windows 10, as you said, is free. We know that when something is free, we are the product. So where is the big surprise in all this?
Well, there is an ongoing escalation. You know, Facebook keeps updating their user agreements, and to gather more and more information, I think that whenever people are made aware of the extent of these products, going into their private lives, I think people are shocked to learn that they're really, everything they do online and now on their computer is followed, because that's the escalation. Facebook can see what we do online, or using Facebook, and Google Ads can see what we buy, but this is really following everything you use, collecting information about, we do a lot of things on the computer, and this can follow it all, basically.
Yeah, but people will still use it because of the free. Windows 10 is such a huge success, not only because it's a very good operating system as a whole, but also because it's free. So a lot of people said, okay, I can download it right now. So that's why 40 million people downloaded it in its first day, because it was free. That freemium is something that people are now used to, and are willing to give a lot of their own privacy in order to get those comforting new gadgets inside Windows 10 for free. Microsoft got us all by just not selling us anything besides selling
I think it's part of the game nowadays, and there's nothing you can actually do about it. And I'm kind of okay with it, but that's me, I'm the regular user. Okay, Google has a new version for their very successful app, Google Translate. This time the app has a special ability. It can translate printed text in real time just by pointing your phone's camera at the text. It's like a sci-fi movie, yay! Add that to the Skype translator that can translate conversations in real time. Will this technology bring us together and cancel the language culture gap? Let's check Google's answer before we go any further.
Here we go. Testing. 1, 2. 1, 2. And flip it. Nice.
Soy Capitan, Soy Capitan. Before we talk about this technology and its implications on our lives, the specific app we just saw from Google, it actually translated as we saw in this clip.
Yeah. It's
as fast as
immediate.
Yeah, it's the real deal.
But they get the colors and everything as well.
The colors, the graphics. This is really like science fiction. You have to use it to believe it. But it's only in about 8 or 7 languages.
Yeah. It's in 7 languages, and this specific experiment right there is an easy experiment for the app. When you put it to a sign that has a lot of words, you start to see it Google Translate everything, just like when you try to Google Translate an article. So there's still that barrier, but it does translate in real time, and now tourists can go around the city and foreign city and understand everything.
I really think right now that's like the first thing you think about is tourism. Really, that's the thing you think about, because it's signs, it's simple. You won't really like hold it up to a bunch of text to try and decipher it. But I think going forward, if this technology continues to develop, you might one day have it in your glasses or some device, because the glass didn't work, and no longer need at all, to know that the world is not in your language.
Yeah, that's where it's going.
Yeah, it's going. We have to understand technology was in favor of English the entire time, because most of technology came from England or from the United States. In the internet, because everybody wanted to speak the same language, and English was the business language at the time when the internet was invented and became public. So a lot of people learned English, and English kind of took over the world a lot because of the internet, and these kinds of technology can bring English even further and become like the only language you will need to ever know. And there is a problem here because language builds culture. And a lot of countries devote a lot of time, effort, and money into languages because language is something that brings us as a culture together. And this technology has the potential to ruin exactly that. Make us all speak English and make us all citizens of the internet, which
But
is...
it translates it to your own language. Also, Skype, it translates it to your own language. You can speak Hebrew all over the world, and people will be able to understand you if you're just being translated to their language.
Yeah, but while you're doing that, you'll start to understand that it's easier to just speak English, and you will learn English better. And the fact that there are languages that this app will learn in afterwards means that now it knows English. English is the biggest and
the English alphabet. All the languages that we see have in common is that they use the same alphabet. It's much harder, let's say, to translate to Hindi or Chinese that use different characters. You have to teach the software to recognize a whole different set of visuals and to translate that. So it's right now limited to this. I haven't used the Skype. I haven't tried the Skype translation thing, so I don't know how good it is and what languages it works in. Because right now, this is still limited. If you're Chinese, it will do nothing for you.
But I'm sure in the near future, it will change as well. Moving on to Japan. Japan has toyed with the idea of bringing robots into the home to care for its elderly for years, but the idea is finally moving from speculation to reality. NTT, Japan's largest telecommunication company, will begin placing tiny communication robots in the homes of some senior Japanese citizens. Meanwhile, in the US, another cute robot met a different fate, as Hitchbot, the hitchhiking robot that travels the world, met his demise by Philadelphian vandals. Let's pay our respects before we ask if cute robots are the future.
I am Hitchbot, a hitchhiking robot from Port Credit, Ontario, Canada. This summer I am traveling across the United States of America, from Boston to San Francisco, with a bucket list of places I want to visit along the way. Please pick me up and put me in your vehicle.
Yes.
It's interesting to note that a much less cuter robot did the trip across Canada last year without being vandalized. So it's those damn Americans. Yeah, you give them a cute robot and they vandalize it.
The Hitch robot did it in Canada. He did it in Europe. He managed to cross the border in Europe in a lot of countries, and
he didn't look as cute then. He wasn't as sophisticated.
Yeah.
But the Japanese love cuteness. They bring us the gift. I don't know whether
Gift of
cuteness. Kawaii, it's called in Japan. It's Hello Kitty, it's anime, big eyes, and they gave us emojis, and now they're doing it to robots, I guess.
Yeah, but do we think that the Japanese robots can really help people, or is it just a cute gimmick?
In Japan, it actually works because a lot of people are like robots and they care for robots, and the fact that you have a robot in your house that can help you and tell you stuff, it's very comfortable in Japanese culture, I think.
I think it will be interesting to see if it translates, because robotic pets for the elderly work amazingly there. The elderly, they develop feelings towards their robotic pets. It makes them feel less alone. But I think it might be a cultural thing. We'll have to see if people in the West who are perhaps more suspicious of things like that would accept this. I don't know. Maybe people who grew up on Tamagotchis. I don't know.
It's still not. The Tamagotchi was a fade, and there is a reason why it faded so much. The Japanese prefer robots, and they can relate to them somehow, which the Western culture can't.
Yeah, but you know, all cultures have a problem with taking care of its elderlies, so this might actually become a solution worldwide. Sadly, I'm saying.
It depends on how intelligent these robots can be. At this point, I think it's no more than a novelty, it seems, you know?
Yeah, well, I haven't met a robot yet, and I am not old yet.
That you know.
That I know. Yeah, thank you very much, Shai.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Avri.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, viewers at home, for watching this show. We'll be back on Monday with a brand new show of The Tube. This show will be repeated again and again and again throughout the weekend. Join us online, i24news.tv. All the shows we've ever done, 2 years on air, you can watch them, including this show, between the repeats throughout the weekend. I think that's it. Goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.